take a long. Good morning.
Good morning.
Take a long nap. It is Tuesday, July 26th.
Yes, it is. And it's so hot.
Yes, it's hot. It's dry. Don't do any outdoor burning that you can avoid doing. Okay? Because, last thing we need is the whole state to catch fire.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hot and dry enough for that to happen. I am not the captain of my own destiny, nor even of this new day. So I renounce anew all claim to my own life and desires. I am only yours, O Lord. Lead me by your mercies through these hours, that I might spend them well, not in harried pursuit of my own agendas. But rather in good service to you. Teach me to shepherd the small duties of this day with great love, tending faithfully those tasks you place within my care, and tending with patience and kindness the needs and hearts of those people you place within my reach. Nothing is too hard for you, Lord Christ. I deposit now all confidence in you that whatever these waking hours bring, my foundations will not be shaken. At day's end I will lay me down again to sleep, knowing that my best hope is well kept in you. In all things your grace will sustain me. Bid me follow, and I will follow. Amen.
Amen.
All right, so today, under the idea of a home tip, we're going to talk about small kitchen appliances. Right?
Right. That's what we said.
So, tell us about small kitchen appliances.
Well, I really like my stand mixer.
Okay.
But that means we don't have a hand mixer. And the stand mixer is, not great for everything.
Okay.
So, we found something else.
Yes, we did.
Well, and actually, I guess it starts with the stick blender, right?
Starts with the immersion blender.
Or the immersion blender. This is really a handy
stick
thing.
blender, immersion blender.
It attaches onto the end of this and its power, and you just stick it down in things and it blends it up. And it's really handy. Like, we use it in the winter. We'll use it a lot for cream soups to kind of smooth them out after they've cooked, especially cheese soups that tend to be a little rough or whatever. So, but we use this a lot.
It's great for spaghetti.
And no. However, it is good because we're not a chunky tomato family.
Right.
We would prefer smooth and maybe a little bit of texture, but not not exactly just your real smooth tomato sauce, but also not big chunks of tomatoes. And so we tend to use like crushed tomatoes, but sometimes even those are bigger. And so we just stick the immersion blender in it and blend it up a little bit, make the chunks smaller, and that just works better for our family. So we actually have a couple of these.
Yes, we do.
And usually they have the motor part, and then this separates to be washable. And so we have one that's all it is. It's
right.
just it's just the motor and the immersion blender. But then we came across this one that has actually been. It took us a while to start using it, but now we're using it more and more and more. But it has different attachments, and we used to have a smaller version of all this that hung on the wall.
We did. It was
It's
a battery
lower
powered.
power.
It was a battery powered Black & Decker.
Yeah.
And it didn't have this part,
It
but
didn't
it
have
had this and that, and it had a standard mixer blade.
mixer blade. Yeah, just a single mixer blade, so you can.
Actually, it didn't have this. It was a kind of a plastic. It was more of a drink mixer.
That's right, like a frother type
Yeah.
thing. So you can put the whisk on if you need, and we don't use the whisk as much because we don't make a whole lot, but it's handy.
And because I like other things to do my hair, this just.
I think it's not for your hair.
Been watching the wrong movies.
But then there's this, and it actually sticks on top of this, and this is like a mini food processor, and this blade is extremely sharp, so I will be very careful. But mini food processor, but it also just, it blends too. And we put eggs in there, and we can get scrambled eggs.
Don't even
really,
have to
really
crack
fluffy. No, that's not true. Don't listen to that. We can get them really, really fluffy. Last night, I have a homemade mustard recipe that I really like, and so the first step is to mix together the powdered mustard and vinegar really, really well. And so I just stuck it in here and went vroom, 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 and it was really awesome. So
If you'd like Captain Crunch set so that you can drink it with a straw, eat it with a straw, one of those.
still do it. Great for nuts and for, it's great for liquids and for other stuff. It's good for nuts and for like putting in Oreos for a cheesecake
Yeah,
crust.
if you're making a cheesecake crust. We actually have a countertop egg bite maker, and the recipe calls for to make just the standard egg bites with it. You mix eggs and cottage cheese and a couple other things, and it works a whole lot better the more smoothly it's blended. You dump it all in there, and it's done. Yeah.
So this is just a handy thing because it's more versatile than your typical hand mixer. Your typical
Right.
hand mixer is, it's great and wonderful, but we actually haven't had a hand mixer in years because we kept finding other things that would work, and so there was no reason to have the duplication. And I think this is this really has taken care of everything that we've needed. So anyway, that's a fun small kitchen appliance.
Yes.
You have another one? Okay.
Well, we've also started using a lot more countertop cooking appliances in general, like the egg bite maker, and it looks like the George Foreman grill, except that it's completely flat, top and bottom. You put a little water in it, you sous vide, you make, and so that it kind of helps steam cook egg bites. You can make cheesecakes in it.
Makes really awesome cheesecakes.
The real benefit in general from those used to think, well, why do you need that? You use a skillet, but keep in mind that a lot of these countertop type appliances are what you find in places, Japan, places in Europe where people are living in smaller apartments, smaller footprints, cooking on their countertop, because the typical American kitchen is based around a very classic and important English idea, and that is you need a fire in the midst of your home to provide warmth because it's cold, except for 2 weeks out of the year, and in those 2 weeks you go walk about and go bother the Scottish. I mean, it just go bother the Scots or go to Wales and try to figure out what in the world that word actually is on a sign in Cardiff. But ultimately, the big oven and the big stovetop are really drawn from modernizing and improving the convenience of the big heat your home as well as cook your food stove concept and technology. And so when it's getting to be 100 degrees outside and you're paying a bunch of money to air condition your house and you're trying to press forward, there comes a time that you back off and go, wait a minute, why would I heat an oven to 350 degrees when I can use an Instant Pot or use a crock pot? Why not use an egg cooker that closes in, and yes, some heat still emanates from it, but it kind of traps the heat. And so it's a smaller footprint heat-wise, and it's a smaller footprint electricity-wise. Instead of running, 220 and firing up a burner. And on top of that, there's also this added convenience with small kitchen appliances. The stand mixer, for example, is great for stand mixer purposes, and it's incredibly durable. Been through a lot. It took years to wear out the first KitchenAid, and we actually think that we did a couple of things to it that may have caused that.
Yeah, I think I know what I did that caused that motor to wear out. Just an accidental misuse of it. So.
One of those places where it's like, oh, so-and-so uses this with their stand mixer. Great, let's get that. Okay, so-and-so uses this. Okay, let's get that too. And then when the two things...
put the two of them together, yeah,
there were problems. But it's expensive to replace it. Whereas a lot of times if you're looking at a lot of these smaller things, they're not as durable. Mm-hmm. They do wear out quicker, but they are easier to replace when they do break. They kind of change the dynamic of your storage.
And it still takes a few years to wear them out.
It still takes a few years to wear them out. And when they do wear out, you start going, but now the technology has jumped, or now we can get this one that's more durable. So there's lots of value to be found, especially in a multitasking batch of small kitchen appliances, of all the things that you can do with it.
Well, and we're discovering just how much of a multitasker the air fryer is as well. Because, again, with conservation of power, we don't have to turn on the oven because we bake in that thing. I mean, anything that a lot of the stuff that we would put in the oven, we stick in the air fryer instead.
Salmon fillets.
Yeah, we're going to have those today. And we've done them in a skillet. We've done fish in the oven. But these, we just plop skin side down in that air fryer for about, I think it was 15 minutes. We're going to reduce it to about 12.
We're going to reduce it to 12.
We're going to cut it down a little bit to about 12 minutes. It's good stuff, I tell you. So, and roasted potatoes and steak, all sorts of things are just phenomenal in the air fryer. And it does not heat up the kitchen like the oven or even the stovetop would. So, very handy.
And one last thing on value in small kitchen appliances, and then we'll wrap this up because we got to go to work.
Yeah.
Sometimes you may look at something like with this, we used 2 out of the 3 attachments that it came with. It was a complete set.
Although, if I remember, there are a lot of whisking things like soup and stuff. I'll use that more.
But even if you don't, there is also a value in looking at it and going, how much use will we get out of the rest of that? We hold on to this in case we run across that use, and then when we have to pitch that, this goes too. But but just because you go, well, I would use feature A, B, and Q, but I wouldn't use everything from C to R, but you would use 3 or 4 or 5 out of 20. It's still well worth it. It's still well worth considering. So anyway, all right. Well, let's wrap this thing up.
Alrighty.
Unless you have something else you want to say. The Bible.
The Bible.
Put
That
that
out of the
over
way.
there.
So I can move that out of the way.
Over there.
Don't want to spill the coffee.
Give me a whiskey jar.
Yes. No, I do not. Thank you, though.
Gearing ratio in there. This moves a lot faster than this does.
Well, that makes sense.
Smaller spindle.
That makes sense because this is pretty powerful.
Yep.
So that does make sense. Oh, I guess we need to do our...
Oh, yeah, we do need to do... Oh, hey, that comes out. I forgot.
Well, that's handy because that makes it...
I wonder if
super
that...
clean.
That's kind of a standard
It is.
mixer input, isn't it?
Let's see. That doesn't come out.
No.
So yeah, you could put...
You could put other things in there.
You could probably put a mixer
Standard mixer blade there.
right there if you had it.
Okay.
You don't have it.
Carry on.
All right.
Psalm 19.
Psalm 19, 7 and 8.
7 and 8. The instruction of the Lord is perfect, renewing one's life. The testimony of the Lord is trustworthy, making the inexperienced wise. The precepts of the Lord are right, making the heart glad. The command of the Lord is radiant, making the eyes light up.
And now, Colossians 1:15 through 20. He, Jesus, is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn over all creation. For everything was created by him in heaven and on earth, the visible and the invisible. Whether thrones or dominions or rulers or authorities, all things have been created through him and for him. He is before all things, and by him all things hold together. He is also the head of the body, the church. He is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, so that he might come to have first place in everything. For God was pleased to have all his fullness dwell in him, and through him to reconcile everything to himself, whether things on earth or things in heaven, by making peace through his blood shed on the cross. If you want a good song of that, all things.
Take it away, Andrew
Peterson.
All things together.
All things together, Andrew Peterson. So, dear Heavenly Father, thank you for today, and thank you that you are all, and you do hold all things together, and we can trust you in everything. I pray, Father, that you will strengthen us to serve you well today. In your holy name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Alexa, play All Things Together by Andrew Peterson. Bye-bye.
Here's All Things Together by Andrew Peterson on Amazon Music.
Alexa, turn off the ring light.